The Prentice Alsop Heating and Air Coaches Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at WGNSSports.com.
And this portion of the Coach's Corner brought to you by J. Mullins Jewelry, a family-owned and operated business treating clients like family since 1938. Jewelry design, repair, and a wide selection of great jewelry pieces. Online at mullinsjewelry.com. John Dinkins here with you this morning, and we are so glad to have Floyd Walker, the head coach of the Eagleville Eagles, and a big winner last night, 62-6 over Community. And I know that had to be somewhat of a relief, Coach, after the first game being so close, and to have one, let's face it, breathe a little sigh of relief, in the second half at least. Or do you ever breathe a sigh of relief?
Well, first of all, let's address the heat policy that's going on in your building today. All right, I don't know whether we're in the yellow, red, or whatever the wet bulb is right now.
We're having to stop every 20 minutes to get water.
You practice for an hour. I got to have full breaks. Okay. It was a good night for us. It's nothing like seeing a smile on your kid's face after a win. So we're really excited that the kids were able to get that for themselves. I thought our kids really, really came out and tried to establish themselves early on. And I really thought that they had just an absolute blast playing with one another last night.
It's a very unusual, but it's a road trip that is not bad. I mean, it's very good. I mean,
it's great. It's one of those situations where it's really easy for not only us football wise and our football team to get there, but it's really easy for our student body, for parents, for grandparents, any fan or citizen that's an Eagleville fan. It's really easy for them to get there. And I made a comment to one of our assistant coaches last night. Our band was there too, and there's no disrespect for our band, but it's almost one of those deals to where you're like, hey, we need to find a place for the band so our fans can have a seat as well, because we were lined up all around the fence last night, and we're really thankful that we live and work in a community that comes out and gives that type of support for our kids and our program.
I bet visiting teams love to see you come for money financially. I'll see you guys invade a place, because you do.
Oh, yeah, it's great, and I don't, I'm never asked anybody, how are their gates. I didn't ask PCA how their gate was. I didn't ask Coach Grooms in the community how their gate was last night. But I have to assume that they really do well financially whenever we roll into town.
62-6. You had some players. I'm going to talk about Span first.
Mm-hmm.
Block punt and recovered it for a touchdown. That's huge in any game.
It is. I mean, and you love it for a kid like Marshall who comes to work every day. Plays full speed at practice, plays full speed, punts. He's pretty much on every special team that we have, and to see him break free, block a punt, scoop and score, you just excited for moments like that. That's something that he can talk to the rest of the team about and kind of cut up and bug about and tell some people that he's got more touchdowns than they do already. So it's great for those things to happen. But we had a lot of people also that got in the end zone last night in multiple different forms. So we're really excited about that and thankful for it.
I know you struggled a little bit in the first game on offense. Was it good to see that rebound? Because you had to replace some people on offense, some really talented players, pretty in the backfield particularly. Was it Caleb Snisser, 92 yards, 5 carries? That had to be pleasant to see.
It was pleasant to see. Not that Caleb got those yards and those touchdowns, but it was pleasant to see the 5 offensive linemen, the tight end, and our H-backs, the job that they did up front. I mean, from an assignment standpoint, from an execution standpoint, and effort standpoint, I thought our 5 linemen, H-backs, and tight ends did a tremendous job last night as far as just knowing their assignment, executing their assignment, and playing with great effort last night. So Caleb had a super night, but if you go back and watch it, I think Caleb will walk in here and tell you that he thinks those guys did a tremendous job as well.
And to me, Floyd, that is always seems to be a trademark of Eagleville. I mention this all the time, and we're going to talk about another trademark that I see, but they play as a team. I guess probably as good as anybody I've seen, and they don't get the big head. They don't like one individual stands out. It's just not the way you won't run the program like that.
No, we won't do that, and that's why we will never put our names on the back of our jerseys. We're always going to keep Eagleville on the front of it because that's what it's all about. But when you watch a kid score and you turn on the film and you see, 9, 10 other people running toward the end zone to celebrate with that kid because it is a team accomplishment. We've always said it before that football is probably the ultimate team sport where it takes 11 people to execute one play and for that one play to have success. So we try to preach that. We try to live by that, and hopefully our kids buy into that as they go through this program.
Another person I want to mention, Noah Lilly, had a 23-yard TD reception. Again, it's kind of seeing new faces and people contributing. Big plays really abounded in this game last night.
I mean, we went into the ball game and we said if we have to throw the ball more than 5 times, that we were going to be upset about it, and that's the way we kind of practice it. And we got to a situation where it was 3rd down and 12 or somewhere in that neighborhood. And we were basically just going to try to throw the ball, see if he could go one-on-one and get in the end zone, which he did. But, the most exciting part about that was, yes, Noah got, his averages of 1 catch, 23 yards, 1 touchdown, so that's a pretty good stat line. But it was also a freshman quarterback, Benton Fox's first touchdown pass. So, so we're excited about that. We're excited about his growth and his process and progress as well.
Hey, when you have a young quarterback, freshman quarterback, I guess there's going to be, 1 step forward, 2 steps back sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
sometimes.
And so you have to teach. You don't want to get him to a point where he's feels like the pressure is already big enough. And body-wise, he may not have matured like he is when he's a senior, but you have to kind of handle him a little differently, particularly through the bad times.
You do, because there's a lot of different things and a lot of information that he's got to process at a rapid pace, and it happens fast. And then you throw a little bit of nerves in it, and then you could, if it doesn't go right, then a kid, you could ruin that kid from an emotional standpoint. It won't be from a physical standpoint. It'll just be emotionally, because he'll start playing with doubt and he'll start being hesitant, and then he's not going to be any good to anybody. So we're very, very careful about what we do with him. We're very selective about what we do with him. We don't try to coddle him or anything like that. He gets coached. He gets coached pretty hard by his quarterback coach, and so if he ever listens to that, he's probably smiling about that as well. But he's going to be a good player. He did some good things, some not so good things, but that's what you expect from a young kid.
We're talking to Floyd Walker, the head coach of the Eagleville Eagles. And, Coach, one thing that is a standard to me is Eagleville, and I tell it every year that we talk, the defense always seems to show up. No matter what's going on, your defenses always tend to show up.
We did. I thought defensively I thought people were where they're supposed to be. People made the right reads and got where they belonged and made the plays that they were supposed to make. And we played a lot of people early. We had backups in on defense basically in the second quarter, and I thought our seconds did a tremendous job of keeping them out of the end zone. I think they got in late. We had some substitution problems that we'll go back and we'll address with some of the younger kids. But defensively, Coach Spann does a super job. Coach Pip does a super job. Coach Haley does a super job with them, and we've all kind of been together for somewhere around between 10 to 14 years. So that cohesiveness kind of helps out on that side of it.
That is a good point you make. It's like when you have a coaching unit that has been able to stay together as long as they have. There's not much. You don't have to really communicate with them like, hey, I know what are you going to do? You're not having to ask that because you know what they're going to do,
right? And
they know what you're going to do,
right? And it's been, it's always been a little bit easier on that side of the ball because of that, and it's pretty much one of those deals where you know how you want to adjust the formations, you know what what coverages you want to play to certain formations, and it's one of those deals to where when you have defensive meetings and you start game prepping, it's very smooth conversations that go on with not a whole lot of discussion because it's like a movie. Been there, done that, and, we in the scope. So.
Amen. And once you get a guy at Eagleville, they don't usually leave. You can't hardly get them to leave, can you?
And people think it's because of, the football program. No, it's the kids.
Yeah.
It's the kids. I mean, you have super kids. You have super kids that come to work every day. They're very respectful to not only the coaches, they're respectful to their teachers, they're respectful to their other classmates. It's a very, very unique but wonderful place to be. And everybody that works there is blessed and grateful to have the opportunity to do that.
No problems with the heat last night, I guess. The clouds and the rain helped a little bit.
We had a little shower on the way there, but I mean, it was hot, it was warm, but I think both teams handled the heat extremely well. I think maybe it was one, possibly two kids that cramped up, one for us and one for them. So from just a heat standpoint, there was no issues, and it was a good night for football.
All right. Well, we're going to talk about Moore County before I let you go.
I was trying to avoid that.
Yeah, I know. We got to the end. You almost made it. But they're always phenomenal and a tough battle. It's good. I know glad you got that win to kind of give a little bit more confidence as you go in to a tough rival, Moore County.
Yeah, it's one of those deals. We talk about it. Football is the only sport where you got to wait 7 days to try to get back on the winning side. So nobody's happy for 7 days. So we'll enjoy it for the rest of this weekend. But Moore County comes to our place on next Friday, September the 6th, and it ought to be a great atmosphere. Coach Chris White, does a tremendous job with that program. They're going to be extremely sound, extremely physical. We went there twice last year. First game, was a close battle. Playoff game got away from us. We didn't play exceptionally well. But I look forward to what these kids will do. I think they'll step up and accept this challenge. And I think it'll be an exciting night for football again.
All right. Floyd, appreciate it as always.
Hey, and look here, man, at some point in time, I may try to get your granddaughters to come over here and have this conversation. They need being on one of these interviews, though.
They might tell stuff on Papa that, you never know. That's Floyd Walker, the head coach of the Eagleville Eagles, and this portion of the show brought to you by Ideas Tees. We'll be happy to help you fulfill all of your imprinted apparel, embroidery, and advertising specialty needs. You can find out more at ideastees.com. That's going to do it for the Prentice Awesome Heating and Air Coach's Corner. Up next is MTCS Cougar Corner after this brief break.
We're talking now with Heather here at